All right, y'all, before I start this video, I wanted to remind everyone that I am doing a giveaway of the Amazon Echo Show 5. Link will be at the top. Go ahead, comment on that video to enter. That's all you got to do. I will be announcing a winner Sunday. Yeah, go ahead and enter. Let's go. What up, y'all? It's your man Wayne Train back with another joint. And 2019 is basically donezo. It's out of here. We out of here. We taking off. 2020. I see you. I see you. But before we get up out of here, before we get out of 2019 rather, I want to talk about these top 2019 phones of the year. The top 2019 phones of the year. Let's go ahead and talk about it. Let's get it. Now, if you don't know who I be, I go by the name Wayne Train. I do tech videos, tech reviews, tech talks, unboxings, videos like this where we discuss phones of the year. Anything you want to talk about tech. That's what I'm trying to cover. So if that's something that interests you, consider subscribing to your boy. Definitely would appreciate it. But 2019, man, eventful year. A lot of good stuff came out this year. I didn't get to try it all. We pushed forward, pushed the culture forward with the foldable. A lot of messed up things happened. A lot of balls dropped along the way, but that's all good. We got the fold. It eventually came out. Matex never did. Some other smaller manufacturers had their iterations of foldables, and it's been an eventful year to say the least. But there have been some solid, top of the line, best phones that we've seen in years, that we've seen ever, basically. So that's what I want to talk about. I got 4 of them. I bought 4 of them. These are the ones that I've tried. You can ask anybody else what their top phone of the year is. It's probably gonna be different. I can't try every phone, but I could talk about everyone, but it's different. You got to go ahead and get your hands in there and actually, play with these things before you really know what they're all about. So let's go ahead over here to the table and discuss our top phones of the year. All right, y'all. So we got our 4 phones in. We got the iPhone 11 Pro, Google Pixel 4, OnePlus 7 Pro, and the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. So all 4 phones here, these are the ones that I've been using all year. These are my idea for phone of the year, or my nominees for phone of the year rather. I think if you ask any other person or whatever, they might pick one of these or a few of these. iPhone for sure, Galaxy Note 10 for sure is a popular one. Even the OnePlus 7 Pro. Many people might not say the Google Pixel 4 because they kind of missed on a lot of things, but I'm gonna put it here simply because its camera technology is just so top notch. I still think it's worthy of a nomination. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We're gonna start off by talking about some negatives, things that I guess you would say dislikes or whatever. When it comes to the iPhone 11 Pro, I'll be honest, not many dislikes. Price, and that's going to be a common theme amongst basically all these phones, maybe except for the OnePlus 7 Pro. But the iPhone 11 Pro, while it is a great device as a whole, the price is just simply too high, and that applies to the Google Pixel 4 and the Galaxy Note 10 Plus for mainly the same reasons. For the Google Pixel 4 here, the price doesn't really match up for what you get. You don't get, the wide angle lens. You don't get appropriate amount of storage. What else? That's probably basically it, honestly. But most people would say, I mean, that wide angle lens is very important. And I'll be honest, like as much as I don't really use it that much, but it does need it has to be mentioned. It is a missing feature, one that's common amongst all these other ones. These phones all have wide angle, ultra wide angle lenses. So, I mean, it is what it is. It doesn't mean the camera's no good, but it is missing that feature. And for the price, $799, one might say that, you know, they kind of dropped the ball. OnePlus 7 Pro, you know, dislikes, no wireless charging, you know, what else? Lack of probably carrier support for the most part. It's like T-Mobile GSM networks. You know, still not readily available to the masses the way that you can just go and pick up one of these. You can't go to like T-Mobile and pick up one. I do have a video of basically saying to not buy the T-Mobile version, so I mean, take that with a grain of salt. But I prefer to just go ahead and buy it through OnePlus website and still get the same experience, but just fully unlocked. That's the best version of this OnePlus 7 Pro that you can find. But you know, that's probably, there's not much, again, with all these phones, these are nominees for Phone of the Year. So with all these phones, you're not gonna find many drawbacks. The price is the biggest hinder on the Galaxy Note 10 Plus as well. Otherwise, one might say this is probably the most perfect phone. I think I said that. I think I'm on record of saying that. Probably the perfect phone of 2019. Doesn't mean it's the phone of the year. Doesn't mean it's my phone of the year. So, but let's go into the next topic. For me, things that some of the biggest things that I take into account for, you know, a quality phone and one I would consider being like phone of the year is build quality. While all these phones are amazingly built, one has to stand out amongst the rest, and that one would be the iPhone 11 Pro. You know, they introduced their matte glass here, and it's amazingly done. You know, a lot of people weren't feeling that camera cutout to start, but honestly, I think it's become, you know, somewhat of a, what's the word? An icon in a sense. Like, you see this camera cutout, this camera there, the triple little circles, you know what it is. Like, you don't really need to doing these searches. You already, people who don't even follow tech know when they see that, it's like, oh yeah, you got the pro model, they know what you got. You know, see the stainless steel on the side, you know, one of the best built phones in my opinion of all time. You know, it's like little details that, you know, you notice. You see the green in the stainless steel. I think that's dope. You know, you got the green right there on the antenna bands. You know, it's just and I like the smaller version. I got the 5.8 inch. It just feels so good, you know, holding it. Great, amazingly built phone. All these other phones are amazingly built as well, but I won't spend too long. Well, actually, with this one here, this is probably the close second. Look at those edges. Samsung's come a long way with their edge, you know, the edges that they put on these phones. You know, they've kept that curved edge, but through the years they've kind of rounded it off just to make it a more, you know, hand-friendly, you know, experience. Like, this phone is like a 6.6 or whatever inch display, but it's all screen, and it feels so good. You know, this is kind of how Samsung started out with their display. Now, this is an amazing display, but we'll get into that in a second, probably next. But still got the curved edges, but the way they do it here, it kind of, you know, comes to a point. You know, here on the Galaxy Note 10 Plus is nice and rounded, good feel in the hand. This is a good feel in the hand, but, you know, it's just not as polished with those edges. So regardless though, when it comes to build quality, I'm giving it to the iPhone 11 Pro. They really outdid themselves this year. But moving on, since we were talking a little bit, I mentioned display. Let's talk about the display. All these phones, well, these two got the quad HDs. This comes in a quad HD in the bigger XL version, and this is just they got the Retina display, but you can never tell colors and everything. All of them are OLED. All of them look amazing. All of them got nice deep blacks. All of them just look, sharp. I believe I would say when it comes to the deep blacks, I want to say that the Galaxy Note 10 Plus here is doing it the best. Look at that. Yeah. So this one don't got a screen protector. This one does, but it's killing it right here with the deep blacks. But all in all, though, if I'm talking about display, the one that's doing it the best this year, in my opinion, is gonna have to go to the OnePlus 7 Pro. Among all these other ones, all great displays, all got high PPI counts. The close second would definitely be the Galaxy Note 10 Plus, not 4K, but 2K 60 hertz display, lovely. These are the only 2K displays that I got here. Again, this one does come in a quad HD in the XL model, but this just does it the best, man. At 90 hertz plus the OLED plus the quad HD display, it's nice. And I love the fact that there's no camera obstruction at all. You get all screen, camera popped up at the top. You can tell, like, it's great. You can't be mad at this display. I love it. This is the best display of 2019, in my opinion. Now, this is a lovely display as well, though you can't go wrong with that edge to edge. Can't go wrong at all. But winner there goes to the OnePlus 7 Pro. Now, I know you might be asking, like, how am I really kind of counting this up? How am I really doing this in terms of tallying up things? There's really no tally. I'm just giving you kind of an idea of what I look at for. The important thing is I look at, for phones or whatever, when I'm thinking of things like phone of the year. Now, all of these got amazing software across the board. Samsung has come a long way from TouchWiz. One UI is amazing. We already know about Oxygen OS. It's the best Android experience, if you ask me. What we got, stock Google at its finest, and the one and only iOS. Now, obviously, these are all user preferences and whatnot, and it's all subjective or whatever. But in my opinion, fun factor included. When it comes to just updates and everything and that kind of thing, which is something that's very important to me. I personally would say software-wise, the OnePlus 7 Pro does it, but as a totality, because since I've been using my Galaxy Note 10 Plus again, I've been getting some pretty consistent updates, and they've been adding a few things, and I like what's going on from over there. They're doing a good job over there at Samsung right now. And taking all that into account, along with, what you get and baked into this whole experience of Android, or of the One UI and everything, and how, like, it's just, you get the theming, you get so much more now with the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. It's impossible for me to not say that they have done the best job with what Android has to offer, and their own interpretation of that S Pen, all the features there. It's an overall more fun experience than any of these other phones. Not that these can't be fun, but they're fun in their own right. But if you have a Galaxy Note 10 Plus, it can literally be your everything. These phones probably could be, but you would eventually be needing something else. In my opinion, for me anyway, I would eventually need something else. This could definitely be your one and only. So, software, fun factor, all that stuff, I'm going with the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. Again, there's no real tallies, but I'm just kind of giving you what I'm just trying to give you a little bit of perspective on like what I think is important for a good phone, but it all is going to switch because for me, as much as I like a lot of that stuff, it's the little things that really matter to me most on a day-to-day basis, like using the phone on a day-to-day basis, like typing. The OnePlus 7 Pro does so well with the haptic feedback. I think I mentioned that in my recent video. The haptic feedback is amazing on this phone. That's something that I constantly am using because I'm always typing on the phone. That's something that I need to have to be like top notch. And the OnePlus 7 Pro is that. Close second would be the Galaxy Note 10 Plus. The iPhone is pretty decent, but doesn't have the kind of haptic motor that is in here. And I don't know what it is, but I love it. It's an amazing experience. And those are the kind of things that I look at. Just like I said, again, with the display, just looking at what phone could I pick up and look at every day and be happy. It would be this phone. You get the wow factor with the pop-up camera. See that? You get the day-to-day amazing, typing experience with the haptic feedback motor. Yes, there's no like S Pen or anything like that, but it's Android, so there's substitutions for a lot of things. So you get a lot with this phone, and the price is what really ends up, putting it over the edge. But before I get anywhere near to the end yet, we still got camera and battery to talk about. Now, while all these displays, because the display, while it's so important to have like an amazing display, this phone, they all usually take a hit when it comes to having these big, beautiful displays. This year, it's probably been the first year in a long time where we've seen battery technology match the display technology, and still, there's no hit there. The Galaxy Note 10 Plus battery life has increased dramatically from what they had last year. With the Note devices, the iPhone as well. iPhone was kind of notorious for having like not so good battery life. This year they stepped the game up immensely. OnePlus kind of is there. It's a decent battery experience, but the 90 hertz and the Quad HD display is something that's new to this device. I'm not sure how optimized it is with the battery yet. I believe they'll be a lot better next year with the next iteration, but still not bad. You can get through a day and probably even into the next day depending on your use case. All this depends on your personal use case. But regardless of any of that, what I will say, hands down, the Google Pixel 4 is a bad battery experience. I'm not gonna bash it, but the battery is too small. We got 2800 milliamp hour battery on, with a 90 hertz display. I just feel like that doesn't really, equate. We got a 4000 milliamp hour battery here and here, and it shows because you get the battery life back. Optimized or not, it's still, when you have that bigger battery, you get it back, you get it in return. So Google, please don't do that again. No more sub 3000 milliamp hour batteries, even on the baby small devices. There's no optimization in the world that can make up for that, especially in 2019, going into 2020 with software and everything being so, heavy, and all these skins and everything that's going on, these powerful displays. You gotta have sufficient good batteries to power all that stuff. So let's clean that up for next year. All right, so next we want to talk about some cameras. Now, I'm not gonna stay here too long. Going into 2020, I just actually want to let this be known. Camera, we're gonna be seeing a lot of advancements in cameras for next year. The Snapdragon 865 has brought a lot of changes and a lot of additions. But even with that, we're gonna see the more advanced that these chips become, and the more advanced that the camera technology becomes, you're gonna start seeing slimmer and smaller differences in the cameras. So for me, in my videos, I'm not really gonna be focusing too much on the cameras going into 2020. I'm just gonna be kind of giving you guys a brief, you know, couple camera samples or whatever here and there, but I'm not gonna be focusing heavy on cameras. It's just, I don't want people to get too hung over on these cameras. Now, I will say, when it comes to the phones that I have and the phones that I've used, you know, when it comes to camera, just straight up point and shoot, the Google Pixel 4 kills almost every single one of them. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody wants to say the iPhone 11 Pro is close. People want to say the Google or the Galaxy Note 10 is close or it's better. People are saying the iPhone 11 is better. It's not better. Google Pixel 4 just does something totally different. I don't know what it is, but I mean, I do know what it is, but it just whatever in detail that it's actually doing compared to some of these other phones, it's killing it, and I want them to continue doing that. But again, when the chips that are the processors and all the stuff that's going on in these phones keeps advancing, you're gonna start to see that camera quality just get, like when we're comparing the two devices, it's gonna be slimmer, and there's really not gonna be any purpose of really comparing these cameras to each other because the differences are so minute. Now, again, I am gonna go ahead and say, I said the Google Pixel 4, clearly the best point and shoot, but I will say as a total, you know, package, the iPhone 11 Pro probably has the best cameras in totality. You're getting 4K on the front, 4K 60 on the front, 4K 60 on the back. The Note 10 Plus would be a close second because of the feature set. And I know there's other phones out that probably do video and everything a lot better. You know, i.e. LG V30 and V50 or whatever. But again, I haven't used that, so I'm not really gonna talk about those. But for me, my iPhone 11 Pro does better on the video side, and it does really good photos. So it takes really good photos. So as a total camera package, you know, and it's got the wide angle lens, ultra wide angle lens, so I can't, you know, miss that. For me, it does the best job as a total camera setup. So rounding it off, going ahead and end this. I know it's a long video. I appreciate anybody who even sniffed the end of this video, but phone of the year, man. So what constitutes phone of the year? I would probably say pushing the culture, doing things different, standing out amongst the others, not really, you know, doing the whole copycat thing. I mean, it's kind of hard to avoid it. I would probably go ahead and say my trash drum. I'll try to do a drum roll. Hold up. No. There we go. Phone of the year goes to the OnePlus 7 Pro. Now, all right, y'all. Let's not be haters. Let's go ahead and give OnePlus 7 a round of applause. Let's go ahead and do it. It's been a big year for OnePlus, in my opinion. I think they've done some amazing things this year. They actually, one thing that I didn't mention, they introduced the matte glass that you know, Google and iPhone is doing. OnePlus did that, so we got to give them props on that. They did that last year, I believe. But pop-up camera, in my opinion, the best display on any phone in 2019. Yes, it's missing things like wireless charging, true always on display, not the greatest battery life, definitely not the greatest camera. Night mode on this thing is dope though. Night mode on the OnePlus 7 Pro is dope, and it might be one of the best night modes, especially after the updates. But just to throw that in there. But you know, the haptic feedback, you know, I know that's not something that people mention as like a deal breaker or even mention at all. But the haptic feedback and like just to use, just using this phone every day is a nice experience. The speakers on this thing is dope. I didn't really mention speakers. All of them got, dual front facing, bottom firing speaker setups, but and they all do really good jobs at that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and end it though. The OnePlus 7 Pro is my phone of the year for 2019. They've done a lot of good things, like I said, and hats off to them. Hopefully they push forward, start adding more things, continue to listen to the community the way they do. They've done that probably the best out of any manufacturer that I know of. The OnePlus community is really great. As a whole, the company is just doing pretty good things, and I like it. And not to make it seem like nobody else is doing, big ups to Google, big ups to Samsung, big ups to Apple for all their contributions to the smartphone game. But in my opinion, the OnePlus 7 Pro is the phone of the year. And I didn't even mention the value. Like, the phone as a whole could be worth the price that these guys are charging. But the fact that you're getting this experience for a cheaper price, in my opinion, is you can't ignore it. But anyway, man, that's the end of this video. I appreciate it if anybody stayed this long. I know it's a super long video, but I gotta get it up. And looking forward to 2020. I appreciate it. Everybody enjoy the holidays. Have a safe, happy New Year. If you don't hear back from me before the end of the year. But it's your man, Dwayne. Happy New Year. I'm out.